Hello friends, in this video I'm going to show you how to install ComfyUI and get it running. ComfyUI is an extremely powerful user interface because you have total freedom, total control to create your own workflows. I'm going to give you some advanced workflows you can work with. I'm going to show you some basics, and I'm also going to set you up with an advanced extension that you're going to thank me for. By the way, do you know why chickens are so funny? Because AI. This is ComfyUI, and this is what we will be installing today. This is also ComfyUI. Let's delve into this and go over the user interface together. All the links are going to be in the description below. And first of all, we're going to go to GitHub and find the ComfyUI. So if you scroll down here, you have installing, or you can just scroll down even further. Then you have for Windows. Nowadays, you don't need to git clones. You can just direct link to download. After you download that, you're going to have a 7-zip file. And you can use WinRAR or you can use 7-zip. I personally prefer 7-zip. Then you can just either extract to wherever you want or, just extract in the current location. It's a rather big file, so it will take you some time. So you're going to go into the folder. And there's a README here that says very important, but it basically just says that if you have a NVIDIA GPU, you're going to use this path file. But if you don't, you're going to run by CPU, which should also be noticeably slower. And there's also some troubleshooting here. Like if you get a red error in the UI, make sure you have a model checkpoint. So we're going to download that as well. If you need to update your ComfyUI, it says so in the README here, but you can also go into the update here and just press update ComfyUI. Now, if you are using Automatic 11.11 or have another installation of Stable Diffusion where you already have models, you can go into the ComfyUI directory here and rename this and just remove the example here. Then you should be able to edit this with Notepad, and then you can set your base path to where your Automatic 11.11 is. Now, if you don't have that installed, you can just skip that. I do have it installed, so I can just do like this. That will make sure, after I save this, that all my models that I'm using in Automatic 11.11 will be used in ComfyUI as well. Now, if you don't have that or any models at all, I recommend that you download a model from Civitai. So let's do that. Let's take Deliberate here, for example, and we're just going to download that. And then inside your models folder here, so these are all the folders where you're going to be placing your various models. Now, if you have no idea what this is, just go into checkpoints and put your regular safe tensors or CKPT files here. I just dropped my Deliberate model into here. Now you're all set to start ComfyUI. Like we talked about previously, you're just going to run NVIDIA GPU. And after a few seconds, you will have ComfyUI launched. And this will be the default interface that you will see. So these are nodes. So similar to other user interfaces like Automatic 11.11, the features are the same, but everything is connected by nodes. And really the power of nodes is that you can then take all the features and connect them together basically almost however you want, and you can add multiple nodes and create your own workflows. So here we have our load checkpoint or our load models node. And here you can select the model that you want. Now I have a lot of models, but if you just follow this tutorial and don't have anything installed, you should have the Deliberate here, for example, which is the model that we downloaded from Civitai. Now we have a default prompt set here, which is beautiful scenery, nature glass bottle landscape, purple galaxy ball. And we have a negative prompt here. Now you can't see this as a negative prompt because it just says clip text encode prompt. This can be renamed. So let's just type positive prompt here so you understand what it is what they're doing. Just rename this to negative prompt. Now you don't have to do this. This is just for your sake. And as you can see here, the K sampler here, we have connections going from the positive prompt here. So you can see that there's a line here going to the positive, and there's a line from negative here going to negative. So that is how the sampler understands what text is the positive prompt and what text is the negative prompt. Now you can switch these around. You can detach these. And let's say you want to change this. This is the negative instead. So I just drag this to negative. And then you can connect this to the positive if you would want that. So you can switch things up on the fly. Let's put them back into positive and negative. And as you can see, the model here is going straight back to the model here. So from the load checkpoint, we're sending the model line to sampler, and the VAE here, now you can't see that because it goes behind, but if you can see that this red goes to this red down here, the VAE decode. So if I would to render this or Q prompt that it says here, it will start rendering similar to as it does in automatic 1111. And we would have an image coming into save image here. And we can open this image. And this is just a 512 by 512, so it's a small image, but you get the point. Now in the little node down here, you have the width and the height and the batch size, which is how many images you will create. And in the K sampler here, you have the seed, which basically determines the base noise before this image is generated. This can be changed and it can be set to fixed, an increment increasing one at a time, or decrement decreasing one at a time, for example. The number of steps that your image will go through while rendering, and the CFG scale, which is a mathematical equation between the positive prompt and the negative prompt and the output. So, but simply put, it's lower CFG means that the AI is listening less to your prompt. I'd say a value between 3, 7-ish. It's kind of good. I usually do 4 or 5 nowadays. The sampler here is basically what renders your image. Now for Stable Diffusion 1.5 and 2.0 models, I recommend the DPM plus plus 2M and then changing the scheduler to Keras. But this is basically the super simple version of ComfyUI and the nodes. Now you can add more nodes. There are a lot of available. So just right click something. You can add a node and there are a lot of nodes to choose from. So let's say here, for example, this is the K sampler. So this is some of the settings that are used to render an image. If we add an advanced K sampler, you can see here that we're getting some more settings. We can have a start at step and an end at step, which means we could run multiple K samplers, like one running from 0 to 15 and another from 15 to 30. This is very popular in SDXL, where you're running the SDXL model for 25 steps and then the SDXL refiner for the last 5 steps. But again, that's a little more advanced, so that's for another video. Now, another fantastic feature in ComfyUI is that you can actually take an image. So this is an image I got from a user on my Discord. And if you take this and drag that straight into ComfyUI, well, first of all, it's going to give us some errors, but that's not the point here. What you actually get is the workflow and all the nodes that we use to create this image, all the settings, everything. And that is really powerful. So you can check on other images, find their workflows, and well, learn from there and continue iterating. You might be getting errors like I am, and that's because you are missing nodes. And in this example, we're missing custom nodes. We're missing some CRG, SDXL samplers here. And there's actually something called the ComfyUI Manager. So we're going to download this. And that's going to help us install custom nodes. So we have the zip here, and this is our ComfyUI folder. We're going to go into ComfyUI and then into custom nodes. And then we're just going to, well, basically extract everything. I'm just going to drag and drop that into here. And after that, you need to restart your ComfyUI. So we're running this again. And now you should have, we're still getting the errors, but don't mind that because you have the manager down here. And here you can, like it says, install custom nodes or install missing custom nodes. So let's press the little install missing custom nodes button here. So this is CRG SDXL. We're installing that. And now it says to apply the install custom node, please restart ComfyUI. So we will do that again. And as you can see now, we have now gotten our new workflow here working. So we just loaded another user's image, and let's cue the prompt here and see if we get a similar result. You can see here that the green border here shows what node is active. So it's actually rendering here now. And here we have. So this is exactly the same image that I got from the user on Discord. So that's pretty cool, eh? But you get the idea of how powerful this node-based system is. So you get a lot of control and a lot of freedom and a lot of help if you can just load another user's workflow. And just remember to download that manager so you can install the required custom nodes. Now, there are also a lot of other nodes you can check out for yourself. So there's a whole list here of custom nodes available, similar to the extensions tab in Automatic 1111. So I'd recommend looking at the base UI, try to see what node does what, look at the little green border when you're generating an image, and then find another image, check that particular workflow, and see how other users are creating their fantastic images. Now, if you want to learn more in depth, ComfyUI has a lot of examples in their GitHub. So, for example, you can see an in-painting node setup right here. So here's an example of how you would set up a node to in-paint a picture. So in the example here, you can see that image is a cat here, and we have first loaded a checkpoint or a model. We have the positive and the negative prompt. We have the sampler, and we have also added a VAE encode for in-paint, and that runs from the VAE from the checkpoint here, and then runs into a load image with pixels to the image and a mask to the mask, and then you're painting on top of the mask here. And then that encode for in-paint runs back into the latent image for the K-sampler here. So you're basically adding on top of current workflow. So this is very similar to what we saw as the default here in the video when we started. Another example here is LoRa, for example. We have the usual workflow. We have the checkpoint or the model. We have the positive prompt and the negative prompt and the sampler and the VA decode. And then they've added a separate LoRa loader here. So instead of going from the model straight into the K-sampler, it goes from the model to the LoRa loader and then continues onto the K-sampler. And the same goes with the clip. So there are a lot of good examples you can find on the ComfyUI GitHub. So this was a quick guide to get you started with ComfyUI. If you want to learn more about ComfyUI, check out this SDXL workflow in this video right, this side. As always, have a good one. See ya.